Let's bring in Tim. Tim, good evening, mate.
Hello, mate. You all right?
How you doing?
Yeah, all good. All good. Thought I'd join the chat tonight. Everyone's
Good
sitting
man.
here.
What's on your
Um,
mind?
I understand what you're saying with the self-defense and things, but honestly, what are you going to do if a nutter's coming at you with a knife? You can have whatever you want in your bag. You start legalizing things. The problem is, it's not Doris down at number 78 that's going to have the pepper spray in her bag, is it?
No.
It's the wrong ones that are going to have the pepper spray and then have an excuse to go out and use it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just think we need to be taking a leaf out of the French's books. If we want to see a change in the way that the UK is being run, we need to start making life difficult for the government in that respect. Um, I think it's the same. I've managed people for many years, and sales ways, you manage people through basically incentivizing them through their wage, and if they're not at standard, they don't earn as much. And I think if you're, you know, doing a day's strike, which is organised nationally, if you're not paying the BBC license fee, which is propaganda, I think all these things build up. It then starts to become national press, and they can't hide from it. You look at the petitions that have been done about, how we don't want Starmer as a prime minister. It's just overlooked, and you're on the WhatsApp groups. I am. Every
Yeah.
5 minutes, there's another
Wasted.
petition
Yeah,
coming in.
Yeah.
It does nothing. It makes us feel good. We like to think it does anything. If the government don't like it, they strike a note through it. That's it, not being done. So I think it's a case of, personally, don't pay the BBC license bill is one thing that we could do. And it sends a message out that we don't want this kind of propaganda being thrown at us.
What about the 2 points I've brought up tonight, Tim? Is it time to relax self-defense laws? I know you've slightly covered that. The other one was, is it time for taser armed guards at Christmas markets, outside schools, etc.?
I think the self-defense laws need to be looked at. I don't know if they need to be relaxed, but I think some common sense need to be applied to it. A bit like in respect to kind of, people being knocked on their door at 2 o'clock in the morning about a social media post.
Yeah.
I think, the laws are there for a reason. And I think on the whole, the laws are good, but it's how they're interpreted and how they're being played out. So, I think you should, the black belt barrister had a good one earlier on today.
He did. I saw it. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, he's right in what he's saying. You got to be careful in what you're doing. You've got to be careful how you say it. But why should you be, like you say, if you've got WD-40 or deep heat in your handbag,
Yeah.
if you could be arrested for it, I mean, that's just absurd. It's the laws are there for a reason, but it's how they're interpreted. In regards to the tasering, I think, again, staffing issues, from what I understand, is that there's a recruitment issue within the police force and retention of police officers. I understand even armed police now kind of want to walk away from it because they're worried about, what's going to happen to them.
Down the line, yeah.
Again, is that going to be any better with tasers? If you start tasering people, can we trust the police with the tasers? That's the other thing. If there's going to be the next, march in London and suddenly there's tasers on all the hips and, rules relaxed and, how are they interpreted?
Well, I think there's rules of engagement. And I mean, I will say one thing. I mean, a lot of people are very anti security guard with any weapons, etc. But my answer always to this is that I believe there are about 500,000, 500,000 licensed firearms holders in the United Kingdom. People like myself, who up until recently held a firearms license until it was removed from me. And there are virtually no crimes committed. I don't know when the last time was a licensed firearms holder committed a crime. And the reason that is because the licensing and the procedure is so strict. What I would like to see potentially is people go through that same vetting. I mean, if, for instance, if I'll give you an example, Tim, right? Those 500,000 people that already have guns in the UK, none of them committed a crime with those guns last year. Not one of them. That tells me that there's 500,000 people there that you can instantly trust. Now, I'm not suggesting that they should be outside of school with a firearm or a Christmas market with a firearm necessarily, although I do happen to believe that the only answer to a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. I've always believed that. But I think that there are plenty of people out there that are more than capable of being in charge of a taser, as an example, and being a very responsible user of it, given the right training and the right licensing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. All I'd say is that going to change anything? Because it's almost like putting a plaster over a gaping wound. It's, you know, look, okay, it's good to have, you know, people with tasers at train stations, at schools, but you know, the fundamental problem is it's a bigger issue there.
It is a bigger
I
issue,
don't.
Tim. Tim,
Yeah.
it's a much bigger issue. One thing I would say is that if I or any one of the firearms license holders that I know and have met over the years, some of the best, most honest, most trustworthy people in the world, many of them former servicemen, if one of them had been standing outside that Taylor Swift dance class in Southport, that bastard wouldn't have got anywhere near those girls.